when I first moved out on my own, I just remember yelling "done" from the bathroom.
I'm done.
For hours. Done. I'm
ready. And then, I'm ready for a wet wipe.
And then I would open the bathroom door. I'm like, oh, they can't hear me. Done. And then I'm like, okay. And then I would go to my front door and open that and just done.
You called your landlord.
Yep. And then that's actually when I started yelling "partake."
Partake. Partake.
We've never had this many people in the room before. This is crazy. There's 6 of us in the room. I can't believe it. That's because we're joined by, I'd call you the last cousin, Nicole, even though you were not technically the last cousin to be on the show. So
the second to oldest.
The second to oldest.
Sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. The last cousin.
The last cousin.
And the last samurai cousin.
No, so Nicole is Josh's older sister and, of course, our cousin.
Much older.
This is her husband, Dustin.
Oh.
Big old Dustin.
I'm much favorite cousin over her.
Not much bigger.
Cousin, I would technically qualify. Alexis was like the first honoree cousin because she was the first to like. Well, actually, no. Rondi, I guess, would technically get that.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Ronnie's been around since like before we were born.
She was with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Who? I didn't hear the name.
Rondi.
Oh, Rondi. I just said Roni.
Roni.
I was like,
you don't know cousin Roni?
You know cousin Macca?
This sounds like someone I need to know, and I don't remember who they are. You don't know
Roni?
Yeah.
Cousin Roni.
Yeah.
Her cousin's Macca.
He's in every one of your Facebook pictures.
Josh, it's happening. You just walk off.
Yeah.
Never see you again.
No, also, I think Nate was a pretty early honorary cousin, too. Not before Rondi, but...
Honorary cousin. Nate? Nate.
Well, he's kind of a
He's not
random one.
married to a family member.
Yeah.
That was what makes...
Well...
They have a thing going
It was a
on.
bromance. It was a bromance.
I mean, it hasn't been legal for that long.
We can't call friends cousins.
So if I can request one thing, it's that we don't say anything for 10 minutes and we just let Cody speak. He's going to do a monologue.
And start now.
'Twas the night before the new moon.
Okay.
This is what I came
That's
for.
all I got.
That's all I memorized.
I just got chills.
So no, we invited Nicole on the show because one, we had to. She had put a gun to our heads.
I've been bugging you for years.
Basically. For years. But no, you're the last cousin that we've had on the show. We've officially completed the full circle of first cousins, at least, if you don't count Warren.
Boo. Which we don't.
What an idiot! But no, so Nicole, tell us about your life. Let's start from the beginning. When were you born? No
We're going to need like 5 podcasts.
Yeah. First, we know it didn't involve any hugs.
Oh.
But actually, Nicole and I have something in common that I don't think anybody else here does. We are the middle child. We know what it's like to be middle children.
Oh. That is true. How has that worked out for you? Because it's
starving for attention.
I see you have a huge glass of wine. You're like,
I'm doing well.
Yeah, she actually got out of the car with that.
Yeah, in a paper bag.
That's wherever I go. Yeah,
it's all right. I mean, being the middle child, I think there's always the cliche of you're the forgotten one or the one that gets the attention. I never thought that was the case.
What's the age difference with you and Kayla?
It's actually the same between you and Josh.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the Guthries are all 10 years older than the Vibberts. So Matt is 10 years older than Cody, you're 10 years older than me, and Josh is 10 years older than Kayla.
That's pretty random.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a weird stat.
Only Dylan would know that.
Yeah. I know.
What's the likelihood of that?
Did you take an internship at ESPN?
No, I took an internship at Vibbert Academy. Family Academy.
Yeah. What's crazy now that we've said how much older I am than you, which I was hoping would not come up, but it did.
No, but it's
I'm
obvious.
19.
It's obvious.
I'm 19.
Look at it, Botox. It's not obvious. I've changed, minus my husband, because that'd be weird, but I've changed everyone's diaper in here. So let's just put that out there.
Whoa.
Wow.
You changed.
And there's still room.
Josh's
There's still a chance.
You didn't change
This was recent.
No,
you will change the diaper.
I was 5, and I very much, as my mom would always describe it, it was like my own little baby doll, and I would take him out of his crib without telling anybody, and lots of precarious
That's kind of how I
things.
feel like when I go out on Friday nights with Josh. It's like my own little baby doll.
Yeah.
You gotta carry him.
Yep.
Hey guys, look at my little toy.
You end up with wearing one of those strappy things where I'm on the front, and you're just walking downtown.
Baby Bjorn.
Baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
Whose diaper were you the most impressed with? Who had the biggest load?
In one way.
Yeah. What's the criteria here, Dylan?
Yeah, but it is funny.
Let's put it this way: my diapers had a sleeve on the front.
It was 2 diapers.
Yeah, and it was like
together.
a hoodie. It was like a large grown man's hoodie sleeve. Everyone would say when I was standing in a puddle, it looked like I was drinking water. Like an elephant.
Is that where you got
Like an elephant, yeah. Yep. And then I would just spray the neighborhood kids.
Dude.
Partake.
Oh my God.
And I was Hispanic. Partake. I was a little kid with a huge member that would drink water like an elephant, spray the neighborhood kids, and yell "Partake."
That is something your dad's Spanish.
Porque? It was actually
So it makes sense.
It was actually porque. Porque! Because it was meant as a philosophical question. Like, why are we all here? But the kids wouldn't. They would just scream and yell and play in the sprinkler.
And then the cops would show up.
Yeah. And then I would yell, porque!
And they're like, get a hold of this kid.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I made the mistake. I made the mistake of not bringing tissue in. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna need
Was there
that.
any tissue in your car? What do we do about that?
Well, there is, but I don't.
No.
Not used.
we need
not
some
used.
to change our back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, paper towels.
Whatever.
Yeah, we can wipe ourselves
As long as
down.
I'm not
gosh.
Sneak me one.
So no, we've had
Yes.
Matt on here before, and so I've heard stories about how Matt was like out of the picture when you guys were younger. So that means you two were probably left alone a lot. And did you guys like fight a lot?
No, opposite.
No, you
Thank
had to interact to fight. Yeah. No.
Let me say my spin first and see how it differs
here we go.
from
This is
yours.
what we came for.
Because we've
Yeah.
also talked about this, where it is hilarious, or sometimes hilarious, how different of a view. Like you can be raised in the same house, and then the takeaway is so you're like, what?
Well,
Like, where
but
did you
it's
get that?
because we all are so different in
For
age.
sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're the middle child, but like I don't think like it qualifies for like the typical middle child experience.
Yeah.
Because the middle child, you think like you're surrounded by these two siblings who are pretty close in age, and so therefore you're always kind of experiencing the similar stuff at the same time or whatever. But like by the time I was old enough to think, Matt was out of the house.
Yeah.
And you were old enough to, I mean, like he like didn't live at home, he was out of the house, and you were out of the house in the sense of like you were old enough to like be driving and
Yeah.
going out to wherever. And so like in terms of being a younger child, I probably had more of an experience of being an only child than a younger child, or than the youngest child, because I was usually just home alone.
Talk more about that, Josh.
Cue the violin. Cue the violin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the salty discharge?
Tears.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
You need
Share
this.
the towel.
Go, put it and get you in a tissue.
Now, see, I remember. So by the time you were a little bit older, you and Matt would do you doing all the boy stuff together. You guys were into skateboards and video games, so I was for sure left out in that way. And then I had the rest of you being all boys. It was very different for me.
Yeah.
And then with Matt, I think us being farther in age, we got along better. Matt and I used to fight when he was home. We would argue all the time. But yeah, we hung out, and then you liked my boyfriend sometimes, and we kind of would hang out.
I didn't like him.
Not like that.
Like you,
Not
took,
like
you
Nate.
took them from me. Basically.
Yeah.
Gonna take your boyfriend.
You guys ended up dating, and I was left out.
podcast?
Yeah.
Partake.
Partake.
Yeah, and then they'd be in my room with my door shut, and you would just hear me yelling, "Partake!"
Don't partake. Don't partake.
And then you would be screaming back to the vent, "Don't partake!"
Salty discharge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Partake
wow.
of the salty
That's-
discharge.
Oh my god.
What? Is that bad?
Just tears.
Let's hope.
This is where this podcast went.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, it's true. Just in terms of being a kid, it was just Shane. Like, but yeah, I hung out with him. I think more than you did.
Yeah. He'll enjoy that when he watches it.
Yeah, he's always commenting.
He's
Yeah.
so smart.
I gotta love it.
Yeah.
And then you and Joel were the only one that actually stayed just two and didn't have to deal with that. And you guys always seemed like you got along.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, not true.
No way.
Really?
Oh my god, we fought.
Really?
I don't
We
know.
fought like crazy.
Yeah, when I
All
think
the
of your
time.
guys' childhood, I knew you guys fought all the time.
Yeah, we fought all the time.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I think
Well, see, then
you
again,
two.
I never got to hang
you
out
guys
because I was the
fight
only
much?
girl.
I think you two were the most. I think you were just like kind of. I don't know. Like you guys just didn't care about each other.
You guys were heavily sedated for most of your life.
Yeah. Like,
Dad, what's with the syringe?
I don't know. Like, you guys are just so mellow towards each other. Just like, yeah, whatever. Like, let's just play some video games.
Cody and I?
Me and Joel,
Yes,
we
yeah.
would fight like crazy. Well, I was a dick to Joel. Let's get this straight.
I can see that. I can see that.
That's why he's not on the show
Because Joel
today.
is very mellow.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why I hated it so much. Is because like
Flashbacks, PTSD.
you try and get a rise out of him and nothing happens. He's just like, okay, whatever.
Oh my god.
You have
Dang it.
the world record for headlocks.
I probably got him into a headlock more than I'd sit on him.
Oh my god.
Flipped a
Yeah,
Guinness
you
Book of
would.
World Records.
Yeah.
Let's look for headlocks.
Keeping
I
track.
wish we had Joel on for this.
I would get so
Yeah, you had a short fuse.
I was lame.
I do remember that a little bit. That you definitely would get mad sometimes.
Well, the reason that this show exists in the first place is because there is a dynamic here that we've had since we were little kids, and a lot of it is due to our grandparents who are no longer with us, but they would always enforce this sense of family and community, with our extended family, because we were just talking about this before we jumped on, that it's very rare that something like this exists with your extended family. Everybody knows their cousins to a certain extent, and I think they're all friends with their cousins, but not to this degree.
You guys were like brothers more than anything.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely true, and I think that's why this show is happening this way. Is people ask like, how can you be with your cousins that often? And it's like, I think we're more
get
like
along.
brothers than cousins in a lot of ways, but it's because we saw each other all the time.
Cody has such a nice body.
Yeah.
Do not blame me for this body.
He's European.
It was what I was blessed
Cody
with.
was always European.
It was neat.
But we would also realize that when we would separate into our immediate families, that there was such a different dynamic going on. And I've always heard different things about what was going on in the Guthrie household, and I was trying to get different perspectives from Nicole. I've always heard it from Josh, some from Matt, but rarely from you, Nicole.
Mine, which we've talked about, just how much it differs. And again, going back to we all live in the same house, raised the same way, but we have totally different views. So, yeah, I mean, parents aren't perfect, but there's always worse. But Matt and Josh definitely have. I think you guys have like the same issues with the same exact things, at least that I've heard. And I don't know, maybe because I didn't do sports. Like you guys always talk about, like they don't even know. Matt always like my dad didn't even know that I played a whole season of soccer. He just doesn't remember.
No, I guess field hockey.
Whatever. There was some sport that he just totally forgets that he even played.
That happened?
So I don't know. It's different from the three of us.
But no, but that's just about Dad's memory. Which, are you telling me that you don't have any story about like Dad being like, oh, like you did a thing, or you lived in that place, or you like not being aware of something that he should do?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't take it like a personal thing. I'm just like,
No, I don't think we take it a personal thing. We're just amazed and worried, honestly.
My parents have no idea I live in California.
they don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
They don't know where he is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like I'm down the street.
No, every day, every day I would come home from high school, and I skateboarded religiously at the time, and I would come home, I have the same routine every day. Come home from school, I put my backpack down, get a bite to eat, pick up my skateboard, and head back out. And he'd be on the couch like watching TV or something, and every day he'd ask me the same question: "You're gonna skateboard in your school clothes?"
Yeah, you would.
And I'd be like, Dad, one is, I don't know if you remember that we had this conversation yesterday, but I will repeat the same answer, which is I've never had categorized clothing. I've never had church clothes, and then my school clothes and my skateboard clothes. I'm like, if you can find my skateboard clothes,
I'll wear them.
I'll put them on.
You just have clothes.
Yeah, and yeah.
Tuxedo.
Yeah.
You have to remember who you're
I'm
talking
like, Dad,
about.
that's what you got married in.
You have to remember though, he's very one track. Like everything's based off of what he does. He does not.
But it's just like he
He has his rules. I don't wear flip flops out of the house.
Yeah.
I don't go anywhere without shaving.
Need your documents?
Like he's
Documents,
got to have his documents. Like
God forbid you hit a wood pole.
so, it's not.
And what's funny is like we're all used to like the impression, the literal like impression that we'll do of my dad. But sometimes like I'll be at work. And I'll just offhand we'll be talking about like, oh, like our parents, whatever, and I'll do an impression of my dad, and I'll forget that people don't understand why it sounds black. And so, for those who don't know, my dad sounds black.
You would think with the way he looked, it would sound Hispanic.
Yeah.
Because that's what he looks like. But
Yeah, and
Because that's what he is.
Well, and I always explain to people, if my dad walked in, you would never in a million years believe that he's my dad because he looks like a short Mexican man.
Yeah.
a really in shape, good looking, short Mexican man, and
A Cuban drug lord almost.
yes,
will.
exactly.
El Chapo.
He is El Chapo.
Yeah, he wouldn't be. He
You
wouldn't
put
be
a full brimmed
middleman.
hat on this guy and put a cigar in his
Yeah.
mouth, it's over.
Yes, no, he wouldn't be a lieutenant. He'd be a drug lord.
Yes. He-
No, he. So whenever I was at home and he called my name, it wouldn't be like looking at me, imagining what my dad would sound like. It wouldn't be like Joshua. It would just be Joshua. And then and immediately just adrenaline spike and be like, all right, Shaft is in the living room.
Get ready.
And I would just jump out the window and roll. Spend the next few weeks on the street.
All you hear is your own breathing and your heartbeat.
Yep. Yeah, it's like that scene in Saving Private Ryan, just ringing in my ear. Everything's in black and white. And then it's just in the background, Joshua, Joshua! Just words hitting the sand around me.
Which is probably exactly what Dad's brain is like, actually. It's just ringing ears.
Oh my
but
God,
it's
yes.
Probably.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't.
How opposite would Danny or Ray be compared to
Our dads.
dad? Oh my gosh. The difference between
Or just pick any adult male.
I feel like I feel like really the major differentiator between our families are our dads.
yeah.
I think all of our moms are like somewhat equal, like as far as personality, like overall personality goes.
Yeah.
But like our dads are just totally different people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
I haven't been around long, but that is the one thing that stands out to me.
They are completely
I'm just like,
different from one another.
Well, you work out with their dad every
Yeah.
morning, right, Dustin? So
Yeah.
you guys are up at the crack of dawn, and your dad's how old now?
74.
Like 74 years old, and he's still up at the crack of dawn, like hitting the weights. Just
More in shape
and that's
than we are.
crazy. That's impressive.
No, but so I had a conversation with Dad a couple weeks ago. He wanted me to tune his guitar, which is not a euphemism, so don't get any ideas.
Come over, boy. Won't you?
I'm like, all right, Dad, but if this involves a shower again, I'm in.
Again.
Yeah, yeah. Partake. Yeah.
This episode's been called Partake.
Yeah, we actually. It's like a mating call that we do to each other. He gets in the shower and just screams Partake, and then I'm at work and I perk up.
Did he?
He called you from 80 miles away. Like,
Yeah, and then I'm on all fours on the 405.
I roll back.
The whole way there.
I don't know why I'm picturing what's his name that plays.
I'm thinking
Oh my
Ice
gosh.
Age with that big Snuffleupagus dude that's just like...
I'm thinking I'm thinking iced tea, which is what my dad always makes me think about.
Who's the one that does
Iced
stretchy
tea?
pants? What's?
Oh, Jack Black.
I'm thinking of Jack Black when you do.
So so I was at the house and there he is now. We were talking about health, and Dad literally says that he keeps getting healthier. Like his eyesight is getting better. Like his if he goes and gets a checkup, like his vitals, whatever his metrics, are all like improving over time, and
the lawnmower man.
Yeah, he keeps getting more and more
Benjamin Button, basically.
educated about health in general and like cutting edge like thoughts about health and following whatever those theories are. And he had his experience with our stepmom's mom with getting like dementia and stuff. I think like really affected him in terms of like what can happen to you in old age. And there are some new theories about like diets and stuff that can bring on or keep that at bay. And he's like dedicated to staying away from that.
That's like his worst nightmare.
Yeah.
That was the
Getting
gnarliest
fat
time.
and
Like at the
losing his
gym,
mind.
he would tell me stuff that had happened the night. Like he would wake up at 3 a.m. and he would hear noise, and she was just over the stove, like trying to make food at 3 a.m. and she thought it was like daytime.
Yeah.
And he was like, I am never going to get like that.
Yep.
And, the OCD-ness of your dad is like hyperdrive when it comes to, I need to flood my brain with information and do exactly what it says. Because if I
always been that
don't, then I'm going to die.
That's the one thing that he wants to be able to control is his body and his health and getting old. Yeah.
And it's his identity in a lot of ways, which is not a bad one to have because it's paid off for him. But I was just like, he's like, I'm not going to die of that. I'm like, well, like, what are you going to die of?
Yeah.
Like, what is going to take you down? It's going to have to be,
besides?
it's going to
Wood floors.
Nothing. He's just gonna ascend.
yeah. Yeah.
He's just gonna send.
I'm like, Dad. I'm like, I'll make you.
Today's the day.
I was like, I'll make you a promise, Dad. If you make it to 100, I'll buy you a staff
Stab.
and a horse.
Yeah.
Long road.
Pegasus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, your dad definitely is. He's getting up there in age, but it certainly doesn't seem like it. And we've noticed it too with our folks. We were just actually, when we had our grandma on last time, it's become a thing that we've always seen. The older generations, they start to slow down or get slower, but our grandma's actually like speeding up. It seems like, and your dad
she's the same way.
Yeah, your dad is like definitely in that group of people where it seems like it's just there's no slowing down with this guy. It's extremely impressive. And you hitting in the weights with him. You guys post stuff on Facebook all the time, and I go, dude, like,
Or that one on his birthday. What was he turning? Was it 74?
No,
On his 72nd birthday,
72.
I did everything in pairs of 72. So it was like whatever weight that he did, I went a little bit down and made him do that weight 72 times. 72 sit-ups, 72 this. I mean, it was as many sets and whatever that would make 72. And I mean, he hated me for doing that, but I thought it was hilarious.
But I
almost killed
think
him.
you have something where he's doing handstand push-ups. So I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like,
mean,
oh my
we
God.
do handstand push-ups together. He's
25-year-olds
like,
can't do
he's
that.
flipping a 200-pound tire. I mean, he's
I
just
can
doing
do
all
that.
this crazy
Well,
stuff.
the one you posted on Facebook, I don't know what he was doing. He was on his side doing maybe having a seizure. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Yeah.
But it looked amazing.
Yeah.
He scared me because he did it so well, and I didn't know if I could measure up.
No, but I showed people at work just to because I mean I don't have like a lot of video evidence of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so you posted that, and I was like, "Yep, he's turning 72, and here he is in the gym."
And they're
Just,
probably like, that's not your dad.
yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind all the time. I'm just like, and he's like, I'm gonna go half your weight. Like that's his thing. Like he goes half my weight. I'm like, I don't know if that's a really good idea.
Well, because he is physically half your weight.
Yeah.
That
So
is
I mean,
true.
that's really a good concept.
you're a big guy. How much do you eat in a day? What's your diet like? I'm
Nicole
dieting
puts a
right.
bale of hay out in
Yeah.
the backyard.
I'm dieting right now for my wedding.
Trough
And it's just grunting and everything. from
Just the
that.
trough, nothing in the trough.
Yeah, I eat that trough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really try and pay attention to it, but beer's good, so that kind of messes that up.
There's so many good things. We were just talking about getting back on track. We've done the
Yeah.
keto thing.
Oh yeah. I think Luke was doing the keto thing for a while.
You guys,
I
worked-
did.
yeah.
I did for
We gotta get back to it.
a while. Yeah. I mean, it works.
I
It
do.
works.
I do intermittent fasting almost every day, where I don't eat until like 2:00. But man, when 2:00 comes,
Warping it down.
it is game
But
time.
is it the same stuff or is it just anything goes?
I mean, I try and stop eating like around 9, so it's pretty difficult to eat what you would eat in a normal day in 7 hours.
Especially if you're
So,
at work and you got
you're
life.
at work and
And
all
you hit the
that.
gym every day, right?
6 days a week, and I do try and do something. Whether if it's on Sunday and we have the kids from church or whatever over to the pool and
Laps.
swim and like they
They're wrestling,
It's like
so
everyone
like-
wants to wrestle too, and I'm and then so like 3 of them come at me at once, and then I'm trying to not be embarrassed by teenage boys, and so you have to drown them all kind of cautiously because you don't
He
want
overcompensates and makes
you don't
want to
get sued, but then you also want to make sure you lay down the law.
Just
so
when they
it's-
barely
balance.
stop moving,
Right.
that's when you pull them back up.
and then you hit their chest really hard on the
Yeah.
heart,
You're
make them
fine.
start beating again. Everything's okay.
Actually, my dad mentioned something the other day about you, Nicole, because I was telling him about I'm on a diet right now where I'm cutting out sugar, as much sugar as I can, and I was like going literally through withdrawals last week. It was I felt sick and just it felt horrible, but now I'm starting to feel better. I'm losing weight, but I was telling my dad about that. He was like, "You should do what Nicole does. You just have little bits of like stuff that are sweet, just like little portions
have
of it.
a bite.
Yeah, you have a bite of things. I'm like, I've never noticed that Nicole does that. Should she actually do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually super annoying.
I won't say no. I'm like, I just want a bite. I just need a bite.
Literally,
And then I'm
I
fine.
can't- I can't do one
like
bite.
a spoon
I couldn't
goes
do that.
into the ice cream. That's it.
I couldn't do that.
And then I put the
How do you
container
do
away.
that?
It's retarded.
I couldn't do that.
I mean,
Like,
look, sometimes I go a little bit longer, and I have
It's like 2
like-
spoonfuls.
It's like the
10
person that can
bites.
only have like one Dorito. I'm like, you can't have one Dorito. You're gonna eat the whole bag. Like that's
No,
what's gonna
you,
happen.
you have one, you black out, you finish the bag, you wake up.
But I don't know it, so
What
I don't
happened?
feel guilty.
yeah, like,
Yeah, but
how it works
I definitely have a sweet tooth, and I can't ever not, especially with chocolate. So I don't say no, but I will. I will try to have like 1 or 2 bites, and then I'm like, I'm not going to take out a bowl because it'll happen. So.
It'd be weird if I like knew my cousin's eating patterns, but I've never noticed you do that. I've never been like, oh, there's Nicole, you have 1 bite and she puts it down.
I think the only reason he knows is because my mom makes fun of me and will say it out loud.
Well, my dad knew it too, and I was like, how do you watch Nicole eat? Like that is weird.
We hang out.
It's a thing.
But only through a rifle scope.
Yeah.
No, if I think it's
He's my
something good,
favorite.
like I will partake in the entire thing. Like I will not stop. Because like I like to eat large portions of things. Like I would just like horf that thing down. I can't just do horf that thing down. Horf. That's an old Ren
That's definitely along the partake.
horf.
Dude, oh my god. I've only
New
horfed
words.
something one
New
time.
words.
And
Partake in
I went
horf.
Oxnard.
Whores and whores.
And I was with a new friend.
Oh, Lord.
And there's just sweat everywhere. And we were just horfing.
You horfed.
That could be a lot of things, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of things.
It was special.
Yep,
Oh
I just came up for breath every once in a while.
She's my special girl.
But that's
You my special girl.
But we do have that consistency in our family, though. I think from having Papa that has always been in the gym and was taking handfuls of vitamins in front of us, and we were just like, "What?"
Chewing them
And then
into powder.
my dad from your guys' dad, bodybuilding. Ray's been he's been a little different. He's,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, but still though,
No,
and if
no,
you think about it,
no.
the fact that he is however old, I don't even know how old your dad is, but
He's
the fact that
always
he's
been-
laying, the fountain to concrete and doing all the work that he's doing at his age is still insane.
That's the thing. He's not like officially in the gym.
He's
and,
not a
like,
gym guy, but he's always had physical labor.
He's a world gym guy,
So
not world gym.
like we've been working, we've been like on and off working on my house for the last, it seems like decade and a half.
years.
But like literally, he will come over and just put me to shame.
Yeah,
like
we'll
all day.
Yeah, we'll be like working in the yard or whatever, like digging up, whatever, and like, he will just be out there like 100-degree heat, doesn't matter, just shoveling dirt, just hundreds of pounds of dirt all day long.
Just eyes rolled
dude,
back
I remember
in the head.
when you laid the
problem.
artificial turf in your backyard. I was put to shame, and I remember talking with you about like how your dad was just moving this entire roll of carpet around, like he was doing it with 90 dudes by himself.
I don't know how. I mean, he does it every day, so it's like
I think
he
it's
just
like
has
a
that.
weird muscle memory thing that happens with some people where, like, in other respects, you'll be out of shape, but you're able to do this one thing really well, and for a long time, it's like your body is just so accustomed to it, I feel like, that you're able to, put other guys who are traditionally in shape.
Not used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get drinking though, then your body just becomes totally diffused of the whole thing.
That's
That's where I get my best self.
That's where you
That's where I
succeed.
become my best self.
Actually, the first time we met you was at the tavern
Yep.
on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve was
And
my first date with
We
Nicole.
were gone.
Yep.
Just gone.
Wait, you
And-
guys were there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
I
I,
met
hardly,
Cousin.
Well,
I
we-
hardly drink.
Physically, we were there, but brain cells
Yeah.
just be a run amok.
No, she went around. She's like, "That's my cousin. That's my cousin. That's my brother. That's my cousin."
we were by the front room bar when I first met you, and that night was I think the only time I was so drunk I just fell over.
Yeah.
I literally did. No, I was me and my buddy Nate, the different one that I was referencing earlier, met a couple girls that were like staying at a hotel right next door, and we ended up hanging out with them. And we're in the elevator, and
Oh my
and there's like the handrails in the elevator, and I went to go like lean on it, missed it, and just fell on the ground.
It's a good first
That's
impression.
what you want.
Yep.
That's what you want.
That's how you close a deal on
Yep.
New Year's Eve.
Yep.
I'm glad I missed out on that one. I wasn't there. on that one.
What was your guys' impression? You probably don't remember. So
I remember like vaguely. I just remember meeting you being like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
that's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was
So no one
definitely
remembers.
a wild
No.
night. Because we
And
were
I
single,
don't
we were all
remember.
single at that time, and
Yep.
so it was just like, well, they were recently single, so we were just like, well, whatever. You know?
Well, and we're idiots, and we thought that that being New Year's Eve, being the tavern, that we wouldn't be able to get in. So we went early, and we were
nobody was there.
No joke. We sat in the back with no one around for half an hour, and so we were drinking from like 6 p.m. And
Half an hour?
What?
Oh my God.
Can you believe it? I mean, like it's just like no, yeah. So we were drinking the entire time, and yeah.
Gosh, we didn't even get down there till like 10:30.
No one else did.
Because that's what cool people do.
Right.
I don't know what they were doing.
But the next day there was something at Grandma's house that like everyone was at, and I remember you were there, and I just remember thinking like, I know I met you, but let's just act like I didn't, because in my mind you are a new
Why
person.
don't
It
I
was
remember
very much.
this?
It was very much our first handshake.
I'm literally dad right now. Now I can see how this happens.
Yeah.
I swear to you.
No, so when
Why
that
don't-
night you were over, and then you went home.
Yes.
And then the next morning I came by, and we went for a walk.
I do remember that.
And then I hadn't met Madeline yet, and you knew that Madeline was going to get dropped off by your mom and your grandma.
Yes, I remember them coming down the street
And
as we
so
were finishing our
as I was leaving your apartment to go home, your mom pulled up, and so I
right.
know Madeline saw me.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I just kept going.
Yeah.
And then you had called and said, "Hey, so we're gonna go
Probably
over to my
barbecuing.
grandma's, and we're gonna hang out, and my whole family." And I'm like, "Yeah, so we just had our first date last night, and meet her whole family." And
God.
and it was cool because like the crazy thing about her and I is we are completely opposite. Like, so she grew up in a family full of boys. I grew up in a family full of girls, and I have all the girl cousins. She has all the boy cousins.
Which is totally evident in how we are. Like,
Yeah.
just in
oh,
general.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, when he walks, he's very feminine.
Yeah. And I just like sob.
And I'm over here like, and like I just got off a horse.
His
Yeah.
his hips just
Hips,
shake.
hips are going.
Yep,
Yeah.
just
Sachet.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I can't get enough scarves. It's just crazy.
Well, I think like the next generation, because again, this generation was definitely way more boys than it was girls. Obviously, Nicole and Kayla were the only girls of
And
our
Caleb
generation.
is so far like.
Yeah,
but
Kayla's far down the
now I'm
train.
calling
Yeah.
it. All y'all are gonna have girls.
Yeah,
Right?
like with Madeline was the first one to come along,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
now like it's just continuing. Then there was Cammy.
You know what's funny? I don't think this is like unique to our family. My wife's family on her mom's side, it's crazy. Like she has an even bigger family than we do. Like she has like 20 something odd cousins,
Right.
and they're all of that age. Like they're all starting to have kids. I'm not kidding you. Every time there's at least 2 new baby girls.
It's just
Every time we visit them, and everyone is a girl. There hasn't been a single boy. There's like
so
there's like
weird.
20 girl babies.
Like, what are the odds?
the
It's so
future
weird.
is female.
I'm telling you, the girls are gonna rule the world in the next
That's funny. Yeah,
next
it's,
generation.
Oh, they're trying.
Well, it's weird. It blows my mind how old Maddie's getting now. It's just it weirds.
She's
me
going
out.
into her senior year.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Stop.
It weirds
So weird.
me out.
Stop.
To high
Me
heaven.
too. I don't feel like I've
She
had
just
her
passed
for
her
almost
little
17
online
years.
driver's ed certification.
Ugh.
Does that mean that she can drive with someone in the car?
She has to now she can take driver's ed.
It's just basically a certificate that she finished her classes. But
Madeline
yeah,
is Nicole's
she's-
daughter for everybody out there who
Yes.
may not know the context here.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is the first of the next generation, and
I know,
yeah,
I don't look like it.
just just like that. Well, Maddie's just you're the next version of you essentially.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
in so many ways. But I remember when she was so young,
good
she'd
ways.
be shy. But now every time I see her, she's just come out of that shell.
Yeah.
And she's a lot more open. I'm like,
You're
oh, there
welcome.
she is.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I did the same. I was super shy when I was younger, but that didn't actually, I didn't get over that until after I graduated high school. I was still shy. But yeah, she has always loved like hanging out with all of you. She literally bugs me to come on here. Well, I want to go on. I don't think the topic probably is like, they haven't chosen it for like your age group.
No, we got Madeline on. But there's lots of questions.
That'd be fun.
No, I know. I'm just-
High school questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude, you could go for
High
Yeah.
school questions. Yeah.
The stories this kid has, man, boggle my mind because this is nothing that I was thinking about when I was in high school. That's even gnarlier.
Quantum physics.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So over here just looking at Einstein's theories and going, oh, okay, makes sense. Okay, got
Yeah,
that.
every time you go into Madeline's room, it's just like a beautiful mind. It's just equations
Yeah.
written on the
Yeah.
wall.
I came up the other day and she was crouched on the floor, like writing.
Yeah.
I'm
She had-
almost there.
She hadn't showered in days.
Yeah.
Her hair was starting to form dreadlocks.
Just every Amazon shipment is a new whiteboard. Yeah. Every Amazon shipment.
Or just some kind of contraption you can't recognize.
But she knows.
Yeah. It's the core.
Babe, I think Madeline just ordered an abacus.
Getting back to my roots.
Yeah. We got to kick it old school this week.
But yeah, it's funny watching her like trying to figure out now like what she wants to do for a career. But she's so like it's just susceptible like to any like suggestion. And so she's asking what she wants to. I'm all, that's not for me to say. Like, you got to figure that out. Like, don't ask me what you want to be.
It's still so far off, though, I feel like, in high school. It's like, you just don't know. I mean,
I hate that pressure.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone, like, pressures you to know.
So that's
but
what
it's
she's
like,
feeling.
You don't know. Like, you will not know until you, like, get out of college.
But didn't we all know those ones that knew? They, like, knew where they wanted to go to college. They knew exactly what to study. And I'm all, I hate you.
Yeah,
I feel like an idiot.
You can't hate me.
This guy.
Some do, and that's great. But the point is that you might not know, but you have to have a plan. Like, so, hey, here's what I'm interested in. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life, but the alternative is just okay. We'll just play it by ear.
Floating along.
Play it by ear, which is worst case scenario. So the point is hey, start thinking about what you want to do, because what catches you off guard if you don't plan for it, and that's what happened to me, is you graduate high school and you're used to being shepherded down this path of okay, school, summer, and people are just like telling you where to be and when to be there because you have to, and then all of a sudden it's just the gates are open and it's like,
do whatever you want.
Figure out, and then everyone just goes the opposite direction. Yeah. Like there's no more guidance. I mean, figuratively, there's no teachers. There's no people saying, "Hey, if you don't do this, you're gonna get in trouble." But
it's crazy.
Police officers.
It's a very hard line of like everything's done for you,
always get in your way.
Well, yes, but that's exactly why you need to start thinking about it well before those gates are open.
Well, and hopefully your parents are encouraged. Like that's these last couple of years of high school, I have very much been like trying to get her just make your own decisions. You got to get up on your own in the morning. Like, I cannot keep doing that for you, even though it's a habit for me, but I have to stop myself because I need you doing things on your own and being used to making the decisions and being responsible. Like, you have to start pushing that for sure.
And you've been
I was gonna say I certainly remember that there were certain things, like small things. I feel like my parents did a fairly good job of like, you're gonna be self-sufficient, or at least mostly self-sufficient. But there are like some little things that like I feel like are just kind of forgotten. Like
wiping.
They didn't tell me.
If I didn't make a perfect ham and cheese omelet by 7 years old, I was grounded.
After you go poop.
Well, when I first moved out into my own, I just remember yelling "done" from the bathroom.
I'm done
for hours. Done.
I'm ready.
And then,
I'm ready for a wet wipe.
And then I would open the bathroom door. I'm like, oh, they can't hear me. Done. And then I'm like, okay. And then I would go to my front door and open that and just
like,
done.
You called your landlord.
Yep. And then that's actually when I started yelling "partake."
Partake. Partake.
Maybe I'm using the wrong word now.
Yeah.
You did.
No, I'm talking about things like taxes, like doing your taxes,
Oh my God.
all that stuff. Like that comes fast, like sooner than you think it does.
How much in school? Like, if I wish they would have had those like common sense. Like you're gonna need this. It seems too early, but trust me,
but I can dissect a frog.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank God, though.
You learn none of that. You don't know how to.
You don't know how to sew a football pillow.
Yeah. You don't know how to open a checking account. You don't know how to. You don't know how to buy a car. You don't know how to get your first credit card. Yeah. You don't know any of that.
You bring your wife's husband. Or your cousin's husband to go buy a car.
Dude, just bring your wife's husband.
That's what you do.
Shut up.
Well, yeah.
But you got a good deal.
I got a good deal. Well, this guy knows because you worked at a car dealership for like summers, right, with your dad.
Yeah, my dad's worked at a car dealership for like 40.
Yeah,
so he's just in sales in general.
Yeah, but I also scare people. So it helps.
Well, yeah, it's because you're like twice the size of everybody else. Yeah. So like, you know, give me a deal, I'll beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
But no, you've always been very protective of Madeline, so I'm assuming like growing up, you're very like, gotta do this, and very strict with her and whatnot, and. She always seemed like a very well-behaved kid, and there was never a time where I was like, "Wow, that kid's gonna be a handful." I'm like, "No, Madeline was always just like
that one's never anything."
If you had to mirror, like literally, meeting someone with a child is very difficult. Mm-hmm. If you had to meet someone with a child, like man, I hit the lotto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
not me, her.
Yeah, Maddie's great.
Nicole,
man, like there's many days I think about kidnapping her.
Yeah.
So
you're just has crossed a bear.
Yeah. I just keep apologizing every day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, now that she's getting older and she's probably being exposed to a lot more things, especially now, like in that age, that pressure of like you got to start deciding your life. I'm sure it's probably been overwhelming for her. Of like
social media is the devil. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah,
you
Absolutely.
have that,
For
but then
kids.
you also get the questions because she sees things, and like we'll be on our way somewhere, her and I, and I'm like, I know I'm supposed to answer that because that's like what I signed up for, but I can't answer that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know,
did you
front to
ask
back
your
or back to
mom?
front. Who knows? Some questions can't be answered. Why is the sky blue? What's the meaning of life? Back to front to back. Who
Those
knows?
rappers in the trash. I don't know.
Those rappers. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hopefully she's coming to me for that, not you.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I just don't get it.
I just go side to side, lady. Side to side.
Can't go
I just
wrong.
shake it off. Just shake it off.
I just jump in the
Don't
shower.
white.
You grab that hair dryer and you just put that sucker right in just you cup it.
I just start yelling, "Partake!"
Yes, what's funny is as strict as our dad was and we hated it when we were younger, I definitely adopted a lot of his way of disciplining, which is good because I know for me, being the one that was always in trouble, I needed that. So I've definitely been strict with her, but I'm now trying to like back off and let her, experience more and
It's
be
a
ready for
balance
life
for
because
sure.
I can definitely
It'll
see
come
with
like a
some
tidal
things I'm
wave.
like, dude, you're not gonna make it if you're this sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna make it. So I need to toughen you up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, far be it since I'm I don't have any kids and probably the farthest away from having kids.
You never know.
Yeah, far be it from me to have any kind of inkling as to how a child should be raised. But I imagine the only thing I've gathered from everything I've learned is that it has a lot to do with exposure, but like a managed exposure.
Yeah, controlled.
Yeah, because
You have to.
well, and I think that's the one thing that like I think I would have benefited from as a kid that I gained from later on my own, which is like learning about lots of things all the time. Like we weren't the type of family to where it's like, hey kids, like we're going to the Getty this weekend. Like there wasn't that, and which I mean, like it's not like we're the only family that doesn't do that.
Mostly because it didn't exist when we were little. But still.
I'm
But
like,
I get
Dad, build a Getty, and then take me there.
He's like, they have a jetty at the
Yeah.
beach.
Yeah, but no, yeah.
Getty.
Yeah, but I'm busy this weekend. No, but I think that type of thing is
Documents.
yeah. You got the document.
I gotta get my documents together.
No, but I think that's like you can't go wrong with that because one is you're just exposing them to like the world they're going to be exposed to, and then two, you're exposing them to lots of different things that might at some point pique their interest, which means okay, like we found what you're interested in, which might help that whole question that we were just talking about of like what do you want to do as a career or what might you want to do, and you just saying like, oh, it comes like a tidal wave, and it stops that from happening, which is you are suddenly caught unprepared for life.
Yeah, and you're just inundated in like, holy crap, what do
Yeah.
I?
Yeah,
like, how do I do
there is certainly a case to not coddle your children,
Absolutely.
because I feel like we were coddled quite a bit, like me and Joel.
Oh yeah.
Joel,
That's what our family was. We were so protected, like
Yeah.
within our own infrastructure of family. Like we didn't even know anything outside of that.
Yeah.
You guys
Which was
definitely
nice in
have.
some regards,
You guys
but-
definitely have an interesting bubble, but there's many times where she's been like, "How do you know about that? How do you do that?" I'm like, "Cause I went there."
you live it.
I mean, I traveled with my dad all over the place when he did business trips, and so I talk with Madeline now because of my new job. Like I'm planning on once she graduates to be able to take her with me on some of these things because she's not deathly afraid of airplanes, and so.
What?
But so she says today, she was like, "Hey, can we go to Hawaii?" And I'm like, "Hey, can you babysit a little bit and earn some money?" And then we can absolutely.
Help me pay for this.
Yeah.
That's your answer.
No, it's funny. Like our 3-year-old is saying the same things because she's been to Hawaii. Like she's been on more places and on more planes than I was ever on in my whole entire life.
Yeah.
So like she's been to Hawaii already, and she's like,
That's so funny.
I want to go back to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that takes money.
Right.
It's expensive. I'm trying to like convey these things to like a 3-year-old mind. Like that's a special thing that we do like every great once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, because every year we go
so
back. Like I'm literally leaving this week to go back to New Mexico for a week to do the normal July visit with family and everything. And I've noticed Michaela and Kendra. That's my 2 daughters. So I've noticed like. They're literally like the bougiest little airplane travelers ever.
Like their headphones and they're like
last year,
jackets.
they were like, they only had the pretzels this time. And I'm like, shut up.
My God.
Did you need a Lynchburg lemonade too or what? It's the craziest thing ever because I literally, now when I travel for work and I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at these pretzels, I'm like, you fucking kid.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I can't even imagine.
Oh,
Ellie
my
saying
damn it,
that.
stupid stale peanuts.
I love it. But at the same time, it's good. It's good that that's a normal thing. That travel is normal, and
I'm glad that she's getting, like you said, exposure to other places. Like she's been all over the country already and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's good, but it's like that's not. I want.
it just wasn't normal for you.
It wasn't normal for me, but like
us,
I want.
But it was normal for Alexis.
Yes,
pretty normal.
More normal for Alexis, but I want her to realize that like.
It's a
like a
privilege.
lot of people don't get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I went on one plane flight my entire childhood, and it was to Hawaii.
That's crazy because I went on 0.
No, that's not true. You were
I was
too
in
young
diapers.
to remember. I know. I'm just saying.
The first time when I was in
technically.
college, so my dad messed me up so bad because we used to travel and he went on points and we only stayed at the Hilton. It was insane. When I went to college, first wrestling trip, we went to the Days Inn, and I thought I was going to lose my mind.
Oh my God.
I was just like, wait,
Motel 6.
God, these sheets? What's going on with these sheets?
Ew.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was so embarrassed of myself.
I wake
We
up
vaca-
every morning asking that same question.
We vacationed at Motel 6.
And we loved it.
And we loved it.
We loved it. That's what's crazy. And
I didn't stay in my
I-
first Motel 6 until I was in college because of a wrestling trip.
No, we loved it.
But I'm
It was
actually
like,
glad.
we look forward to it.
I look at stuff like that, and yes, I mean, it would have been nice maybe for us to have more experiences, but I love that we looked forward to that, and we had so much fun, and it didn't matter, because we were in the pool the whole time, so it really didn't matter where we were.
No,
We
and-
had
and-
fun.
and-
as we got older, we were obviously like, okay. Like,
Well, yeah, but when you talk about
Somewhere else.
experiences, it has nothing to do with the like
How much
level
you're
or just how much you're spending or how nice the place is. It's about like what would have been nice is that going to. If you look forward to it and you have fun, then who cares what it is? But at the same time, it was like we were on like a loop. Like, let's go stay at a Motel 6 somewhere else and do those things. And like, or like go and maybe
The normal Palm Springs, Ventura. Ventura. Yeah.
or maybe like this other place, and then maybe go to like this event or this thing that has like something that exposes you, like something as simple as like an air show, or like because a museum is like kind of cliche, but just or like some kind of convention where like it's like you interact with people, you learn about things, whatever. But it was pretty. We were like very insular in terms of. We can count on one hand the places you go and what you do when you get to those places. And like, look, it's the question I always like to ask is, okay, is that bad or good compared to what? Like, because you can always point to something where that's like an absolute dream, you won the lottery, and so it's not like it's a bad thing, but there's always other things you can do without spending more money and exposing yourself and others to stuff that might benefit you.
It was definitely a blessed thing for me because my dad's work paid for so many trips that we never paid for anything. It was, it was just one of the perks.
That opens more doors.
It was one of the perks of being in sales, which is why I was like, I'm going to be in sales for the rest of my life and I literally experience that crap now. Yeah.
The only perk I got from my dad's job was that he knew the guy, the bail bondsman that bailed me out of jail. That is not a joke.
Not kidding.
Not a joke.
Kidding.
I love it.
Kidding.
I love it.
But it came in handy.
What would have been cool is if Dad had like loved his job and done
because he could have done it still today.
Oh yeah, but I mean, and he was good at it. I mean, at the time because he's tough.
He's T1000.
He's the T1000.
He's the T1000.
Yeah,
he's the T1200.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you forget about it.
he is special.
Well, before we wrap up, I need to know one thing. What are Cody's thoughts on this entire podcast?
It's been great. I've been having a great time listening to all of you.
Good job, Cody.
I didn't know you were on your deathbed.
The cancer has spread.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Took a dark turn.
Wow.
Cody's been very busy over here.
Okay, wait, because we didn't, and I don't know how much time, but we didn't delve too much into your dad.
Oh, my dad?
Yeah.
You don't want to know about him.
Do you guys remember him being in bodybuilding? I know you guys were pretty young.
Well, actually,
that
we
time.
plan on having him on soon. Actually, I've asked him a few times. It just the schedule hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
And he literally was actually. I was trying to get him on this week, but he had something to come up. So he will definitely be on, and I'm going to inquire more about the bodybuilding days because that's He actually when I was just talking about dieting, that was something that came up when he would be on his strict diets, and he has openly said many times that he regrets doing that.
Yeah.
Why?
The bodybuilding?
Because he says it's a very selfish thing to do.
It's very all-consuming.
It consumed his life. In a lot of ways, I think he kind of, I don't want to get into it too much, but he just kind of gets it. He blames a lot of things that happened at that time for being so self-centered, and it was all vain and just I got to be like this. And I'm sure, and I think anybody could have told you that, but I think it's just something to where it consumed so much of his life that he probably was like, if I could go back and do it again, I'd probably, what's it worth? What did I get out of that?
Right.
I didn't get much. I didn't get much of anything. So.
Pretty cool pictures.
Right.
Well, I mean, you got
He's
his
super
size.
tan.
The one memory I have of him doing that, because we were all really young, was sitting across from him in the living room at Grandma's house, and him eating his oatmeal, which is these gigantic arms, and just eating this oatmeal it was like a chemical cocktail. Watching him make it, and just sitting there with his t-shirt on that was just screaming help, and just
With every bite, it was just ripping.
yeah.
His whole transformation.
Yeah.
If you want to know why Cody and I were mellow as kids, it's because our dad was the Hulk. So if anything happened, it was just.
But that's one thing I do remember about, and it's still true about your dad and stuff, is even though, and we were all young when he was doing that, obviously, so I don't know personality-wise how much different he was, but always funny. And he's not super. He's pretty quiet in general, and until he's telling a story, and then he's being funny and stuff. But he's just hilarious, and his stories are amazing, and they're super funny.
The best thing about him, I would say, is
His lats.
His lats are superb. But he is with everything because of the nature of his job and everything that he is providing, helping people pick out meat and things like that. But he's such a genuine guy. And I think that's why when he struggles with the concept of it was a selfish concept, because that's not him by nature. By nature he is so about you guys and so about people and all that kind of stuff, so it was completely opposed to who I know he is. You know what I mean?
I mean no parent is perfect, but I think we lucked out when it came to both our
Every
mom and our
parent is
dad.
perfect.
For sure. He definitely is a genuine guy, and I think he is. There has never been a time where I didn't think he did not care about his kids. There was not a sign of it or a sense of. Even I could say that about my mom. There was times where I just go I think she's struggling with something, but I never thought that she didn't care or something like that.
Sure.
My dad, I never thought he's struggling with something. It's just he puts it aside.
Just handled it.
Yeah, he dealt with it like a man, and it was just okay, all right. I guess that's as good as a role model as you can get, probably.
And your mom definitely was always one of his biggest fans. It's she was always one laughing, in tears. I always remember that. That's how funny he was, and that's something that she.
Those were not happy tears.
Cody, shut up! Pipe down.
What's funny is I actually referenced your dad. Was that today that we were talking about? Yeah, I think with Madeline and dry senses of humor and stuff, and how that can come off sometimes. But I'm Ray is so funny. I'm but you don't even know it sometimes. He's so
until you're the joke.
And sometimes that's almost even funnier. Is when you're because you don't know for sure they're being serious, and then you're oh my god.
My dad's full on Ben Stein.
Yes. Oh my god.
Everything is just
Lucas.
dead.
Clear eyes.
Wow.
It's awesome.
I love it though. I mean, I love that style of humor.
And Joel's the same way.
Oh yeah.
He's such a dry, but they're hilarious.
Yeah, you'll never catch Joel laughing at anything. He's gonna tell the joke and then just
yeah,
it's funny.
But he thinks it's hilarious, but he just doesn't react.
Right? Yeah.
I've never actually seen Joel cry from laughing like we all do.
No,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think we're out of time. But Cody, what do you got to say about it?
Well, that's it, folks. Have a nice night.
No, you should partake in our YouTube channel and subscribe and follow us on our
new
channels.
Word. I think you guys should have a new word every time it's a podcast, and there's the first.
Word of the podcast is
Yeah.
Partake! Partake!
Change the title of the podcast to Partake.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming on the show. And
Thanks for having us.
yeah, we'll have you guys on again soon. And we'll see you guys next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Peace out.